Are you a hardworking local business owner striving for success online? There is help. Welcome to the Smarter Local Marketing Podcast, featuring candid conversations and inspiring stories of online success. Now, here's your host.
Yes, this is James Martell, and I am your host for the Smarter Local Marketing Podcast. And today I'm here with Sam Gunaratna, a local customer acquisition specialist and a partner here at Smarter Local. And today he's joining me as my co-host, and we're going to be discussing 6 clever ways to collect emails from Facebook fans. And it's a very interesting topic because I've noticed by looking at many business Facebook pages that business owners, for the most part, are not taking advantage of this. So we want to really dig in and talk about why and how this can be done, and of course the advantages of doing so. Now, before Sam joins us, just a reminder that if you would love to finally have in place a rock-solid internet marketing strategy for your business that provides you with an excellent ongoing return on investment, go ahead and reply to the email in which you received this podcast episode to arrange a free 30-minute consultation to discuss how a Smarter Local Marketing program can be custom-tailored to your specific needs and business. Again, simply reply to the email in which you received this podcast episode to arrange your free, no-obligation consultation. Again, Sam Gunaratna is a local marketing specialist and a partner here at Smarter Local. Sam, how are you doing today?
Hey, James. How are you doing today?
Hey, I'm doing very good. And hey, I want to thank you. I know it's a Saturday and pulled you away from some work you were doing on the house to join me on the podcast today. So I want to thank you for that. And this is a great topic. We all know how many people have Facebook pages. I know I saw a stat recently that some 2 billion people have now actively subscribed to Facebook.
Yeah.
And there's almost 1 billion people logged into Facebook every day, which is pretty staggering when you think of it. And of course, business owners are always looking for ways to get in front of potential clients, especially in their local markets. And we know that these Facebook users, of course, are also very local. And local Facebook has been very large and very big for companies. So I thought it'd be just a great idea to talk about some of the reasons why that a business should take the time to really consider maybe better engaging Facebook. But today I want to really focus in on why we want to focus on making sure we're gathering up the email addresses from our Facebook followers. One of the reasons that I've seen, and a stat that I know personally, is that when we post something on Facebook, sometimes a business owner thinks everybody who is following them actually gets to see that post. And in reality, because of the way the Facebook algorithm works, you're going to be lucky to get your message in front of 10, 15% at the absolute most. So when you compare that to email, the ability to send out an email and get into everybody's inbox, there's just a big difference between the two. So I want to talk about these 6 discussion points. So what I think I'll do is I'll just kind of kick it off. Maybe we can throw the first one out there. Number 1 of the 6 clever ways to collect email from Facebook fans is simply add an email sign-up form tab to the top of the Facebook page. You can speak to that.
Sure, James. Absolutely. You know, these small business owners, they really need to realize that building that customer base and reaching to those customers through email is probably one of the oldest forms of marketing, and
probably,
yeah, and it still works.
The thing with email too is if you take a look at some of the stats, we've got 91% of consumers who use a smartphone check their email on their smartphone every single day. It's also well known from the Direct Marketing Association that consumers who receive emails spend 138% more than consumers who don't. It's really a worthwhile endeavor to gather them up and get them on of course, into their email audience. One of the things that I've always found and puzzled by when dealing with small business owners and working with local business owners, busy, running a business, dealing with employees, just overwhelmed at a time, making sure you got enough revenue to cover the paychecks at the end of the month and every 2 weeks and everything that goes into running a business. So I understand why some of this stuff can get shuffled to the side, but if we do take the time to figure it out and put some of these little basic strategies in place, it can actually really help the bottom line. I know another simple way to gather in emails from a Facebook audience is we all have the cover image at the top of the page. We can get pretty creative on that. So
Right.
so we mentioned put a sign up form tab at the top of the page as number one, and that functionality is available in Facebook, and it's really not that complicated to set up. And what happens is when they click on the tab, then they can drop right onto an email form where they can enter their name and email address, and now they're on your email list. Number two is directly above that is the big cover image. And one of the things that we could do on that cover image, and you've probably seen this, where somebody may put a little descriptive text on the image with an arrow pointing right to the tab.
Right, exactly. That'll get their attention to follow that arrow and click that tab. Absolutely.
Yeah, and sometimes that's all it really takes is just pointing it out to them. The other thing that, number three, I would say, is they can give an incentive, some sort of reason for them to actually give the name and email address. I know with one of my clients, Sawbucks Pub, at sawbuckspub.com, we manage their Facebook page, and they've got just over 5,000 local followers now. In their email, as far as the email audience, we've built it up to just over 1,500. And one of the beautiful things about that is we've had the ability over the last couple of years to test various offers. And the little incentive that we came up with for Sawbucks that's working really good right now is a little VIP offer where they can, when they subscribe to the email newsletter, they are automatically entered into a draw for dinner for two each month, which also gives them VIP seating for bands on Saturday nights and some other special little gifts and goodies that we award or give away each month to those who are what we call on our VIP list. So all businesses have something they could probably give away as a little incentive to give them that extra little reason to just enter their name and their email address. And now you've got that asset and that ability to be able to reach out to your best customers whenever you have a special or a promo or you just want to touch base with them.
Absolutely. You know, building that email list, James, I mean, it's like having a customer for life, right? As long as they still keep their email address, you'll be able to reach out to them in the future.
That's true.
With specials, yeah.
Absolutely. And one of the things that I really found working with especially local customers, local clients of ours, is sometimes they're a little apprehensive. They're not sure if they should collect the email address. They don't want to bug their client. And one of the things that I really found working directly with, in this case, Sawbucks, because I happen to go to that pub, and some people know that we manage the email list and we manage the Facebook page. I can't tell you how many times over the last couple of years I've heard somebody say to me, "Is it you that updates the Facebook page and sends out the emails?" And I say, "Yeah." And then they will go about telling me how much they appreciate being kept in touch with and that they know what's going on in the pub. They really enjoy that, and that we basically just stay in touch with them. We send out a weekly newsletter. It just lets them know what's going on. Here's the band on Saturday night. Here's what we're doing. Mexican dinner on Monday night. We have a crab special on Thursday night. Friday night, we throw a party every week. All that kind of stuff. And it just reminds them, and it just continually lets them know what's going on in a non-pitchy sort of way. And I'm even being in the business for 20 years, I'm always still surprised at how much people appreciate a decent email when it's sent out in a tasteful way.
Absolutely. Now, James, if you don't mind me asking you a question, isn't email still considered probably the most economical method of marketing?
It is, actually. I think the Direct Marketing Association, I think it's 3,800% return on investment for businesses who really actively engage in email marketing,
right?
Which is not overly surprising. It sounds like a big number, and it is, and email works very effectively for reaching out to clients. But when you consider how much it costs to advertise, maybe Google AdWords or Facebook ads or more traditional forms of advertising, that could get really expensive really quick. But email, it really doesn't cost anything to send an email out to everybody.
Right.
And that's probably why it's such a high return on investment, because other than a little piece of software that you need that might cost you $20 a month to manage your entire email marketing program, there is no other additional cost really if you're sending out the emails and you're working at the business level.
Right. I mean, basically, you just need to craft the emails to send out, right, and reach the customers.
Absolutely, and we talk about that in other episodes. I know I chatted with Jose Quiroz about email marketing and taking advantage of developing well-written, tasteful emails and queuing them up and making sure they're going out. I know in another episode I talked with another vendor of ours, which is Roy Weissman, who is the VP of Sales and Marketing for SendPulse, which is an email marketing software platform for local businesses where they can send out emails, where you can subscribe to their service actually for free for the first 2,500 subscribers, no strings attached, where you can send up to 15,000 emails a month out to your list. And he talks all about that in that episode, and that's an amazing piece of software. And I would encourage listeners, if you don't have an email marketing platform, definitely go check out that episode. You'll learn about SendPulse and the power that it gives you at your fingertips and how simple and easy it is to use.
Absolutely. I mean, at a no cost, using that service, I mean, why wouldn't you, right?
That's right. And, and funny, people say, well, what is the catch? Well, there really is no catch. I guess the catch is if you surpass, let's say you've got 2,500 people on your email list, soon as you go to 2,501, then you're going to need to pick up a monthly subscription, which, if I recall, is $9.95 a month. And
wouldn't that be a great problem for all business owners?
It would.
Huh? Once you reach
it definitely would.
over 2,500.
I know with Sawbucks, just with that example alone, or maybe Dr. Cale Copeland over at Victoria Family Chiropractic, another client of ours, just having a small email list. Sawbucks alone is around 1,500, as I mentioned earlier, subscribers. Now, these are, and I should point out, these are subscribers to the list who are after the bad emails, the ones that, were the wrong email addresses, or people have changed their email address, or the email bounced for some reason. This is a nice, clean 1,500 email list of their best customers, people who have been in the pub or on the website and have gave Sawbucks their name and their email address. So these are very premium names. These are this is gold to a business. So yeah, so 2,500 would be another 1,000 on top of this. And with 1,500 email list and 5,000 Facebook followers, I can fill up that pub basically at will. They put any promo out there, they put any special event on, they put anything out there, we've got the audience to send out the message to.
Mm-hmm.
So another one, number 4 here, is a simple one. Include a call to action to join your email list in your Facebook posts. I know business owners, as you've seen, and you do, Sam, we add posts to our Facebook pages. It's not at all uncommon or hard to just add a little link to your email sign-up page. You don't have to do it on all posts, of course, but selective posts, it's a very good idea to include a call to action to join the email list at the bottom of your Facebook post. What do you think?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, these small business owners need to realize that they need to build that customer base, and having such a powerful tool as an email to send to them and reach them and get their message across, it's a necessity nowadays.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. And I was thinking about this. The pub, I'll use them as an example again. In the spring, they decided they wanted to do something different on Tuesday nights. So there was a local artist in the area, and they ended up doing what they called paint night, Tuesday paint night. And the artist would bring in 25 little easels and paint for everybody, and paintbrushes and smock, and turned half the pub into like a little art studio. And then she would do a 3-hour painting class, and she would teach them. She would paint with the one painting, and everybody would copy her, and she'd go around, and everybody drink wine and have some dinner. And it's a really nice event. And I was thinking, because we had the email list and the Facebook following, all I had to do was work up a little bit of creative, a few little images and some text, and post it in Facebook a few times, and then also send it out to the email audience. And we sold out the event. So they ran it 6 months in a row. And every month we sold it out, which is understandable. 1,500 is a lot of people. Same when there's only room for 25 or 30. And then same with the Facebook following. But it got me to thinking, if we didn't have an email following and we didn't have a strong Facebook presence, how else could we have promoted that?
You'd have to use paid advertising, right? I mean, what other methods are there?
Yeah, exactly right. You'd have to probably pay some Facebook ads. Heaven forbid, maybe put an ad in the newspaper, which we all know doesn't work overly well anymore. But it gives you the ability to have an audience and an attentive audience who've given you permission to let them know about things that are coming up. The other thing, again, with Facebook, it's one thing that I sometimes think we forget is we don't own Facebook as far as the content goes. Even with, say, Sawbucks with 5,000 followers, if something happens and Facebook decides to change things, and they have been changing things, they've been reducing the number of people that see the posts, and based on their algorithm, it used to be a lot more people would see when you create a post and send it out on Facebook, you'd be getting a high percentage of people. But that number has been dropping rapidly, and some see it's down to around 4% on some days. So with email, you have control because now you can send it out when you need to. And you mentioned it, you got to own this data. You need to be able to communicate with your customers and keep them in front of you. So that's number 4. So number 5 is run Facebook ads.
Mm-hmm. Of course. You need to run some ads anyway. I mean, all small businesses need to run ads. But I believe the Facebook ads are probably very economical compared to some of those other advertising that's out there.
They are. And I know you can target community level. You can say, okay, I only want to target people in my postal code or in this geographical area or in this 10-mile or 5-mile radius. And you can even drill it down further who have an interest in this. And you can really get targeted, whereas, you take the old days where you have the newspapers and the various ways we used to be able to advertise that used to work much better than they do today.
Right, Yellow Pages.
Yeah, Yellow Pages, yeah. Where there really wasn't a lot of targeting. Where today, with the newspaper as an example, or radio, everybody heard the ad. So you were paying for everybody to hear it or everybody to see it in the paper. But it didn't necessarily mean they were interested at all in what you had to offer. Where Facebook, you can actually target in on what they call an audience's interest. And that really helps. That really helps a lot. So then it keeps your costs down, and you're reaching the right people. So running Facebook ads is a great way, definitely a great way to go. And number 6, last one, we touch a little bit with the VIP contest or the VIP offer as an incentive to subscribe. But you can also take that a little further and host a contest or a giveaway of some sort, and you could post that on your Facebook page. You can run it through the Facebook posts. You can run an ad for it. You can share it all kinds of ways, but host a contest or a giveaway, and in return for them to be entered into the draw, so to speak, of course, they got to enter their email address.
I mean, a perfect example of that, James, would probably be, the first thing that comes to my mind is offer like maybe 5% discount for the service that you provide. And what you're doing is, that 5%, depending on what your service is, you're gaining a customer for life. You've got to be, with that data that you're going to get, you're going to be able to reach that customer in the future.
Absolutely. I think that's one of the keys here. Most business owners, we've all heard that it costs 7 times more money, 7 times more to find a new customer than it does to bring a repeat customer back.
Right.
And one of the ways to do that is to, of course, to make sure we have their contact information so we can stay in touch with them, build some rapport, strengthen the relationship, and then, of course, bring them back and keep your business or our business, whoever happens to be owning that list, top of mind. So when that consumer is thinking about heading out for dinner, they'll pick your restaurant, or maybe they need automotive work, they'll select your automotive shop, or maybe they're a dentist or a chiropractor, whatever type of business it happens to be. If you're the one that's been nicely communicating with them, keeping them in the know, making sure that they're receiving message from you once or twice a month, or maybe weekly, depending on the type of business, then when they need that service or they need that type of product, you will be the first person they think of, and then that really gives you a leg up on your competitors.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you on that. This is something that, I hate to say it, is that so many small businesses miss out on, and they need to change the way they're thinking about.
Yeah, and it can really have a staggering effect, even surprising effect to most, because let me go back to Sawbucks one last time. 1,500 people in the local market over time have given permission to the owners of Sawbucks to send them out an email to keep them in the know on what's going on at the pub. And that's powerful. That's powerful. I know in another episode we talked, and we'll put a link to this in the show notes. I know one of the reasons sometimes we don't engage the email marketing ideas is because a lot of business owners don't have an email marketing list or don't have an email audience and haven't really thought about ways of getting it. And in one episode, we'll put a link to it in the show notes, is we talk with Jose about 3 very simple ways to build up an email audience from 0 to 1,000. And we covered that in detail. One of the strategies, we went from 0 to 250 email subscribers in 2 hours. Mm-hmm. And in those 2 hours, we hardly did any work, and we got to watch a football game at the same time. So I'd encourage you, if you don't have an email list, don't let that stop you from really digging in, because it's not difficult to build an email list. And we share 3 really easy to implement strategies in that particular episode. So, Sam, I want to thank you for joining me today. It's been great. Always good to chat about local business, email marketing, and driving more customers through the door.
Sure thing, James. Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. Now, I can see we're out of time. If what we talked about here today makes sense to you, but you're not quite sure how to get started, simply reply to the email in which you receive this podcast episode to arrange your free, no obligation, 30-minute consultation and complimentary digital marketing evaluation. Bottom line, we would love to help you attract more clients and customers to your business. Again, simply reply to the email in which you receive this podcast episode to arrange your free, no obligation, 30-minute consultation and digital marketing evaluation. And finally, if you enjoyed this episode and know a friend or an associate that would benefit from what we shared here today, please do pass this episode on to them. I'm sure they'll thank you for it. Sam, thanks again, and to our listeners, thanks for listening to another edition of the Smarter Local Marketing Podcast.
Thank you for listening to the Smarter Local Marketing Podcast. If you would love to finally have in place a rock-solid internet marketing strategy that provides you with an excellent ongoing return on investment, then go ahead and reply to the email in which you received this podcast episode to arrange a free, no-obligation 30-minute consultation to discuss how a smarter local marketing program can be tailored to your specific needs and business. Again, simply reply to the email in which you received this podcast episode to arrange your free, no-obligation 30-minute consultation.
Right outside with my guitar in my hands, and the notes became loud as the sound caressed the air, and I kicked it up a notch as I strolled